China and Philippines conflict over West Philippine Sea is still a hot topic. Since then, China coercing people to believe that the West Philippine Sea is under China rule. Different documents and sources has been published in order to support their claims. However, Philippines is also doing their best part to defend our country's sovereignty over West Philippine Sea. Why this issue is still alive today? Bakit hindi matapos-tapos ang isyong ito? Sinong may karapatan at sinong ang may karapat-dapat na may mag-ari ng karagatan at ang mga likas na yamang matatagpuan dito? In this video, we will discuss and present different agreements and different concepts to give us a prior and clear understanding regarding this issue. Gamit ang legal na posisyon ng ating former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, Antonio Carpio, ay malinaw na ipapaliwanag ng bawat miyembro ng pangkat na ito ang mga ebidensya at pagpapatunay na ang West Philippine Sea at ang mga karatig na isla rito ay pagmay-ari ng Pilipinas.
Good day, sir. I am Adrian Emancilia, studying Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Filipino, and today we will discuss about the issue defending Philippine rights in the West Philippine Sea. Sa kasalukuyan, ang South China Sea ay isa sa pinakamahalagang pandaigdigang daan ng tubig. Halos 5.3 milyong dolyar ang halaga ng mga kalakal na dala nito. Sa kasalukuyan, ang South China Sea ay isa sa pinakamahalagang pandaigdigang daanan ng tubig. Halos 5.3 trilyong dolyar ang halaga ng mga kalakal na dala ng mga barkong bumabagtas sa South China Sea. At tinataya na 65% ng mga petrolyong inaangkat ng South Korea at 60% ng petrolyong inaangkat ng Japan at Taiwan ay dumaraan sa makipot na kipot ng Malacca, papunta sa mga bansang Vietnam, China at Pilipinas. Meron ding isang isla na nakapaloob sa West Philippine Sea at ito ay ang Spratlys Island na pinag-aagawan dahil malaking porsyento ang binibigay nitong isda na.
For today, I will discuss bakit nga ba pinag-aagawan ang Spratly Island. One of the reason why is meron ditong makukuhang o mayaman ito sa mga methane hydrates. Ano nga ba ang methane hydrates? Ang methane hydrates ay nabubuo sa ilalim ng dagat na may temperaturang napakalamig at mataas na presyon. Ang yelong kristal ay nabubuo ng nakapalibot sa natural gas. Kaya ang natural gas ay nakapaloob sa mga kristal na ito. Sinasabi rin na ang methane hydrates ay maaaring palakasin ang ekonomiya ng bansang China sa loob ng 100 years. At ang mga bansang labas sa rehiyon na ito ay pinapanatili ang kapayapaan sapagkat maapektuhan ang pag-angkat nila ng mga produkto.
Ang China ang nagmamay-ari ng konsepto ng Nine Dash Line upang maipahayag ang kanilang territorial claim sa West Philippine Sea. Ito ay isang cartographic o mapa na claim na naglalarawan ng isang malaking bahagi ng South China Sea na kinikilala ng China bilang kanilang teritoryo. Ang nasabing linya ay naglalarawan ng 4 na pag-aangkin ng China sa mga karagatan at isla sa rehiyon. Ang international community, kasama ang Pilipinas, ay nagtutol sa Nine Dash Line ng China at ito ay kinikilala bilang hindi wastong basihan sa ilalim ng United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS. Ang UNCLOS ang pangunahing batayan para sa pagtatakda ng teritorial na karapatan at responsibilidad ng mga bansa sa karagatan. Ang Permanent Court of Arbitration or PCA noong 2016 ay naglabas ng desisyon na hindi valid ang historical claims ng China sa ilalim ng Nine Dash Line at itinuturing itong labag ng UNCLOS. Gayunpaman, tinatanggihan ng China ang desisyong ito at nananatiling nagpapatuloy ang tensyon sa West Philippine Sea.
Pinupunto ng China laban sa Pilipinas. Ang China ay nagsasabing sila ay may kasaysayang karapatan sa dagat timog China, patay sa kanilang interpretasyon ng kasaysayan at sinaunang mga mapa sa kabaliktaran. Ang Pilipinas ay umaasa sa UNCLOS at sa batas ng pandaigdig upang magpatunay ng kanilang karapatan sa karagatang ito, lalong-lalo na sa kanlurang karagatan ng Pilipinas. Sa kabuuan, ipinapakita dito sa aking pahayag na hindi legal at mali ang mga claims ng China laban sa Pilipinas. Hindi ito mga legal kasaysayan sa pagkakaiba ng mga hinain ng China sa kanlurang bahura Pilipinas at sa pusyon ng Pilipinas sa binibigyan diin ng kahalagaan ng Pilipinas sa pagsunod sa batas ng pandaigdig at mga prinsipyo ng UNCLOS upang ihayag ang kanilang karapatan.
So, let's move on to the ancient map of the Philippines. So, meron tayong tinatawag na 1734 Murillo Velarde map o tinatawag na 1734 Carta Hydrographica y Chorographica de las Islas Filipinas. Gamit ang mapang ito ay natitiyak kung malakas o matibay nga ang ating pwersa laban sa mga Chino sa usaping pagmay-ari nila ang West Philippine Sea at gayon din ang tatlong islang matatagpuan narito. But before that, the question is, why is the 1734 Murillo Velarde map is so powerful and containing concrete image showing the legal rights of the Philippines over the West Philippine Sea? So, paano natin tutugunan ang katanungang ito? What are our frame of reference to prove that all islands lying outside the archipelago lines is belonging to the Philippines, including the Scarborough Shoal and the Spratlys? So, ito na yon. Gamit ang mapang ito, ang ating frame of magiging frame of reference natin. This map serve as the most important map of the Philippines. And did you know that this map is still alive today? Wala tayong ibang kopya sa mga publikong aklatan patungkol sa mapang ito sapagkat ang Pambansang Museo ng Pilipinas lamang ang mayroon nito. Pero bakit nga ba napakalaking pwersa ang impluensya ng mapang ito sa atin? Or in short, why is it important? So, this is important because of the cartouche. So, makikita natin na ito yung cartouche. The cartouche is the royal coat of arms of the King of Spain, which means this is an official map of the Spanish Kingdom showing the Philippine territory in 1734. At noong 1732 ay inutusan ni King Philip V of Spain ang Gobernador General na si Governor General Tamon to make a map of the Philippine territory. And he commissioned Father Pedro Murillo Velarde. Siya yung pinakatanyag at kinikilalang pinakamatalinong praile na ipinadala ng mga Espanyol dito sa Pilipinas dahil sa tungkulin na ito. At upang matugunan ang tungkulin na ito sa pagsasagawa ng mapa, ay katuwang niya rin ang dalawang Pinoy na si Nicolas de la Cruz Bagay na naging engraver. Siya yung naging engraver sa paggawa ng mapang ito. At si Francisco Suarez naman ay siyang naging artist sa pagbuo ng mapang ito. So, this map is an official map of the Philippines during the Spanish regime. So, what makes it very important? So, what makes it very important is that this map determines the Philippine territory up until today. So, let us also remember that this map shows the Scarborough Shoal, the Paracels, and the Spratlys. So, this map is the first map to give name of Scarborough Shoal. And that name is Panakot. So, alam naman natin na ang Panakot ay isang salitang Tagalog that it means danger. Pero bakit nga ba Panakot ang ginawang pagpapangalan ng Pilipinas sa Scarborough Shoal? So, sinabing Panakot dahil kapag ang isang kapitan ng isang barko ay hindi alam kung nasaan ang Panakot, so probably your ship could hit the rocks of Panakot at maaaring lumubog ang iyong barko. So, dahil sa usapin na ito ay ihinabi natin sa nakaraan ng pangyayari na yung Scarborough ship na lumubog dahil doon sa batong ito ay lumubog sila at doon na nga sinasabi na doon kinuha yung pagpapangalan na Panakot. That is why the European cartographers renamed the shoal Scarborough Shoal. So, this map also shows the Spratlys na kinikilala sa pangalang Los Bajos de Paragua. Ang Paragua ay lumang katawagan sa Palawan ng mga Espanyol. So, dahil dito ay naipapakita natin sa pamamagitan ng mapa na ito na tayo ay ang kauna-unahang nagbigay pangalan at katawagan sa mga islang nabanggit. So, walang mas lumang mapa mula sa China na nagpapakitang pagmamay-ari nila ang mga islang ito. So, we have this oldest map, the map that serve as our legal document containing the official territory of our country, giving rise to the Philippine Constitution and those Treaty of Lines containing the same argument that Philippines has legitimate rights over the West Philippine Sea. So, dahil dito ay patuloy nating ginagamit itong kasaysayan na ito, gamit itong 1734 Murillo Villar de map sapagkat mapapansin naman natin na kung hahabiin natin yung mga iba't ibang legal na dokumento at konkretong ebidensya, ay mapapatunayan natin na malakas ang pwersa at malakas ang panig na pinanghahawakan ng Pilipinas upang sabihin sa mga Chino na ang West Philippine Sea ay pagmamay-ari ng Pilipinas. So, dahil sa mga usapin at hindi kaaya-ayang mga ginagawa ng mga Chino laban sa atin, ay wala tayong ibang sinasabi or ipinapatunayan sa kanila na hindi natin pagmamay-ari ang West Philippine Sea. Bagkus ay ipinipresenta natin gamit ang 1734 Murillo Villar de map sapagkat ito ay isa sa mga hindi mamatay-matay na ebidensya na nagsasabing ang Pilipinas ay siyang may karapatan at may sakop sa West Philippine Sea at hindi ang mga Chino.
In the Spratlys and Paracels, you will see the sovereign stone markers. These are the stone marker which says China was here in 1901 and 1902. In the Chinese point of these markers as evidence that they own these islands, so they call this as sovereignty markers. But these markers are totally fake, because in 1987, the province of Guangdong published a book explaining why they named these islands the way they named them. And this book contained an interesting annex and editor's note. In June 1937, China announced that they sent this guy Wang Xiang in Paracels to check if the Japanese established bases in the Paracels and to assert Chinese sovereignty over the Paracels. But actually, Wang Xiang had a secret mission and he made a report of his secret mission. In his report, he said Wang Xiang placed a stone marker in North Island says they are commemorating the inspection of 1902, same as the other part of the North Island and Woody Island in 1911. So the stone marker in the Paracels are totally fake. Now, let's talk about the stone markers in Spratlys. On the page 291 of the 1987 compilations contain the editor's note stating that the stone tablets on the two islands, West North Island and Spratly Island, might have been erected by the Taiwanese Navy in 1956, not 1946. So, it's totally clear that the stone marker is fake, and it's totally clear that China owned the Spratly and Paracels because of the stone markers was totally fake. So what should we do now as Filipino? Encourage all the navies in the world to sail in the South China Sea and in particular the West Philippine Sea, so that they will enforce the ruling. And also, we should ask our neighbors Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia and Brunei to help us explain to the Chinese people that China never has historic rights in the South China Sea, and all these claims of China under the Nine-Dash Line is totally fake. We should continue resorting to the rule of law because we have no other choice. Why we don't have a choice? This because our Constitution says we renounce war as an instrument of national policy, and we cannot enforce the ruling by going to war. We have to use the rule of law. And also, the United Nations Charter prohibits war as a means of force or threat of force as a means of settling or maritime disputes. And under our own Constitution, what is the power of the President? Can the President declare war? He cannot even declare war. The power of the President is limited to the calling the armed forces in case of invasion, but he cannot direct an aggression against another state. The power to declare war is lodged in Congress by two-thirds of both houses, and joint session assembled voting separately shall have the sole power to declare the existence of the state of war. That's our Constitution.
One of the strongest bases of the Philippines for the ownership of the West Philippine Sea and winning the dispute against China is the treaties. The Philippines is regulated by the treaties, the Treaty of Paris of 1898, the Treaty of Washington of 1900s, and the Treaty of Britain. According to the Treaty of Paris, it is the official time ended the Spanish colonization in the Philippines and granting positions or permissions to the United States to manipulate or own the Philippines. The United States required to pay 20 million US dollars to the Spaniards so they can colonize the Philippines. But according to this agreement, only the territories on the east side are the ownership of the Philippines, granting to the United States. The Treaty of Washington of 1900s was signed on November 7, 1900s and came into effect on March 23, 1901, where the ratifications were exchanged. This sought to remove any ground of misunderstanding growing out of interpretations of the Article 3 of the Treaty of Paris by clarifying the specific territories relinquished by the Spain to the United States. So according to the Agreement of Washington, Treaty of Washington, it means that all the lying islands in the West Philippine Sea are belonging to the Philippines, and it required the United States to pay another 100 US dollars to the Spaniards so they can sign the agreement. The Treaty of Washington is also known as the Cession Treaty.
Good morning. So, tatalakayin natin ngayon ang kalagayan ng EEZ or the Exclusive Economic Zone ng Bansang Pilipinas. An Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ is an area of the ocean generally extending 200 nautical miles beyond a nation's territorial sea, which a coastal nation has a jurisdiction over living and non-living resources around it. So, those 12 nautical miles, according to the Constitution, the country's territorial sea anything within the 12 nautical miles area of the Philippines territory, which means that anything or anyone that zone is subject to Philippine laws. In the Philippine law, the West Philippine Sea or the WPS refers only to the portions of the South China Sea which the Philippine government claims to be part of the country's exclusive economic zone or the EEZ. The naming of the area became officially through Administrative Order No. 29 issued by then President Benigno Aquino III on September 5, 2012. The order also cites Presidential Decree No. 1599, which was issued in 1978 during the tenure of then President Ferdinand Marcos, which established the Philippine EEZ as well as the Republic Act Number 9522, or the Baselines Law, which was enacted into law in 2009 during the administration of then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, which delineated the baselines of the Philippine archipelago. This law, or the administrative order, asserts the Philippine claim over its EEZ in the South China Sea, which conveys the Philippines government position that it has a sovereign rights under the 1982 United Nations Conventions on the Law of the Sea over the West Philippine Sea, and inherent power and right to designate its maritime areas with appropriate nomenclature for purposes of the national mapping. The maritime areas on the western side of the Philippine archipelago are hereby named as the West Philippine Sea. These areas include the Luzon Sea as well as the waters around within the adjacent to the Kalayaan Island Group and Bajo de Masinloc, also known as the Scarborough Shoal. Within this zone, the coastal state may exercise sovereign rights over exploration, exploitation, conservation, and management of natural resources and other economic activities such as the production of wind or tidal power. Dahil dito, mas naninindigan ang Pilipinas upang ipaglaban ng West Philippine Sea sapagkat nakapaloob dito sa territorial area natin ang 200 nautical miles na inilunsad ng UN Clause.
Patuloy na inaangkin ng China ang West Philippine Sea. Sa kabila nito, ang Pilipinas ay may legal at malinaw na basis na pagmamay-ari nila ang West Philippine Sea. Sa nakaraang arbitrasyon ng Dayuj, hindi dumalo ang China kung kaya't sila'y nagpasa ng position paper na nagsasaad na pagmamay-ari nila ang China noong pang 20 taon, sila ang nagpangalan, naggalugad at nagpangalaga ng likas na yaman ng South China Sea. Sa kabila nito, ito ay tinatawag na fake news of the millennium o walang katotohanan na position paper, kaya ito ay hindi nanalo o hindi natanggap noong nagkaroon ng arbitrasyon sa Dayuj at nanalo ang Pilipinas na sa kanila ang West Philippine Sea.